Καλησπέρα φίλες και φίλοι. Αλέξιος Ντόνας, απόδημος Παλμός, εδώ σήμερα από το στούντιο του I Love Πατρίδα. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ τους παράγοντες του στούντιο, τον κύριο Τζόναθαν Κωνσταντίνου.
Ευχαριστούμε και εμείς, Αλέξη, είσαι ένας πραγματικός φίλος. Έχουμε πορευτεί πάρα πολλά χρόνια μαζί, έχουμε κάνει αρκετά πράγματα και ελπίζουμε να κάνουμε πολύ περισσότερα.
Τώρα θα μου επιτρέψετε όμως, επειδή το θέμα είναι αρκετά σοβαρό, να μπούμε γρήγορα στο θέμα μας. Το θέμα μας είναι η Συρία, είναι ο χριστιανισμός της Συρίας, οι μειονότητες, η δύσκολη κατάσταση στη Συρία, η καταπίεση και η εθνοκάσαρση η οποία γίνεται αυτή τη στιγμή στο συριακό έδαφος. Θα ξεκινήσουμε τώρα στα αγγλικά, διότι ο καλεσμένος μας δυστυχώς δεν ομιλεί τα ελληνικά πολύ καλά. Λοιπόν, I will switch very quick to English. Tonight, I have the pleasure to welcome here with me the president of the Hellenic chapter of the Republicans overseas, Mr. Τζόναθαν Κωνσταντίνου, and the president of the Greek Levantan Association, Mr. Ράφαελ Ίσσα, from online from Sweden with us. Jonathan?
Well, Syria is an open sore to humanity. It's the hotbed of ISIS. That's where all the conflict has been carried out for the last several years. Unfortunately, now the conflict has changed character because we have apart from Iran that was backing it, now we have a new state backer, Turkey. So I'm going to let Ράφαελ Ίσσα give us the latest news, and I'll be back towards the middle and the end with questions because I would like to follow up on my visit to Syria in the summer.
Ράφαελ, the ball is in your side of the court. Please tell us a bit what is happening on the ground right now. What are the new informations from Syria?
It's the continuous chaos, lawlessness. To be honest, not much has improved in the last year, at least for the minorities. I can't speak for the majority people, but the minorities are not experiencing anything improved at all over the past 15 years, take it in total. I've been in contact with some friends on the coast. They tell me it's a chaotic situation. I hear different things from Damascus. There it seems to be more under control, but I think everyone views it from their region. Let's just say that Syria is far from united and under control, if you want to summarize it.
Yes, we heard some rumors about Al-Golani, and there were some things that are very strange. He was injured, not injured. What was this fuss about? What is the information you're getting from the people in Syria?
Well, internet is a good growing ground for rumors, but they released pictures of him with Ursula von der Leyen, I think yesterday or the day before. So apparently he's not injured, but the rumors were that Iran tried to assassinate him, and he was attacked in the palace. But there's no serious sources to confirm anything of that sort.
Yes. I know about a report that you are trying to finalize now in the these days, I think, together with Christina, if I'm right, from Canada. She is also Orthodox Christian, and she's representing also the Alawites of the region. I think when will this report ready, and what is included in this report? Can you tell me a bit more for our viewers?
The report is supposed to portray and document all the atrocities happening towards the minorities. It's mainly in the coastal area. So, as you remember, in March we had a lot of serious events taking place in the coast. But There's been in other places too where media hasn't reported on it. So we thought that we can document all of it into one document to be shared, so it doesn't stay in the hiding. We need to expose this to the world, and we are supposed to finish it, but it seems alive because the atrocities continue even today. So we can never put a lid on it. Even if we finish it today, we have more information to add to it next week.
All right. Jonathan,
Yes.
you see,
The thing is, just for the continuity of the show, we have to explain the various ethnicities who are present in Syria. We have the Alawites. There are Muslim, but not I would like a little bit more info on that. They're not radical Muslims who are mainly gathered on the Levantine coast with the Mediterranean. The next big minority, which I was there in summer, are the Druze. The Druze are let's say, a schismatic Muslim tribe. We're very friendly with Israel. Many of the Druze fighters are actively in the IDF. Now, that's in the very southern tip between the Israeli border, that is Mount Hebron, and Damascus. You have to remember that in terms of geography, Damascus is almost right next to Israel, very far away from Turkey. And then you have the big, the largest population minority, who are the Kurds. And the Kurds have been fighting together with America under the SDF banner, Syrian Democratic Forces. And currently, the Syrian government has an agreement, in theory, in paper, that supposedly the SDF will cooperate with the Syrian Nationalist Forces. But the problem is that the Syrian National Forces are completely infiltrated by ISIS, as we saw lately, with the murder of 2 American servicemen and a local interpreter, which was made by an ISIS infiltrator in the Syrian government forces. And that's very alarming for us Americans, because we know very well that the Syrian supposedly government forces are really a front for 2 major actors in the area. One is Turkey, and the other one is Iran. And we have to understand that these are not antagonistic powers in that area. They are complementary powers. That means they may have their differences, but united under the common goal of eradicating Israel, they work together. So all the rest we hear is lip service. Sorry, I just had to make this little interjection. So people who are not so familiar with the, and then of course we have the most important for us, Orthodox, the minority, who are the Greek Orthodox. They're Arabic speaking. They're the Rum Christians, Romi, we say in Greece. And so we have 4 ethnicities who are being massacred, and not to mention a small ethnicity of the Aramaic speaking Rum Christians. That's around Malula and Saint Thecla Monastery. And Raphael, after that, you can continue, because we really needed to put some perspectives for our viewers.
Thank you very much for this intervention. We have you here for this, yes, because you know the situation. Raphael, I think you agree with the introductory explanation of Jonathan. Raphael, what worries me is the role of Turkey in the area. I'm telling you straight, we have been discussing this, and I would like to know from you, how do you see Turkey's involvement in the region?
I think this whole thing is a Turkish design. The whole intervention in Syria, or the civil war, or whatever you want to call it, the change of regimes, it was designed and orchestrated by Turkey as their main influencer, I think. And Turkey continues to be, let's say, if Assad was influenced by Iran, Jolani is definitely influenced by Erdogan in Turkey. So they continue to expand on their geopolitical plan. Winning Syria now, I think Lebanon is also on the map of the same fate if Turkey has their way. And the reason I'm saying also Lebanon is because we saw a few years ago that a lot of Lebanese Sunnis who were more inclined to the ideology of Erdogan's party, they were given citizenships in Lebanon just by that fact. And I don't know if you remember, we had a period where the Armenians in Lebanon were threatened a lot publicly by these Erdogan sympathizers.
So you're saying that, because I heard also some rumors, you're saying that Turkey is trying to change the ethnic composition by importing Turkish citizens in the region, yes?
It's actually by granting citizenships to non-Turks who sympathize with the ideology. So
Yes.
it's basically me going to Italy and giving citizenships to anyone who would be in my favor.
I understand, but this is something that we know. We know about this strategic.
Oh, they've done it in Cyprus. They've done it
Exactly.
in
Thank you.
other areas. And playing the ethnic cleansing game is an old game for Turkish politics. It was inspired by their German overlords. We have the Armenian massacre, the Pontian massacre. I mean, they're all hands at this. They know that if you want to have control of an area, you must remove everybody who's not within your narrative. Let me make a small interjection here again. What's many people don't understand that is that the final end game of the Turkish foreign policy is Mecca, and they have to slowly conquer the various footholds of Islam. The footholds of Islam are the following: number one, Mecca; number two, Cairo. Why? Because there you have the meeting of the fatwa of all the imams from all around the world every 4 years at the university. And that's like the Islamic parliament. Now, the third is the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount, and it's not the Al-Aqsa Mosque, because the Al-Aqsa Mosque is about 200 yards further down. It's a Temple Mount. It's been described as the area where Muhammad or Mahmed, that's a theological question, had his visions in the Quran. The next one is Damascus. The next one is Baghdad. And the next one is Constantinople. So now Turkey controls Constantinople, obviously. Istanbul, they call it, but it's really the same name. They control Damascus. They control the Temple Mount. Partially through their British friends, they control Baghdad. So what's left? Egypt, which was the target of the Arab Spring. And the final jewel in the crown is Mecca. And believe me, they have plenty of allies in this, because the Saud family is a target for many evil players in the Islamic world, and not only, and China, because don't forget, having 1.5 billion people ready to act at your beckoning is a huge political force. So having said that, let's see how Syria plays it. Don't forget, now Turkey controls Damascus, at least theologically.
The question for me is, while this is happening with Turkey, I believe that this has been communicated to some, the bishop, the Greek community, or anybody, or the Greece foreign ministry, obviously. You have been communicating this, haven't you, Рафаэль?
I mentioned this back in 2021 when we were invited to the Ministry of Diaspora in Athens. So it's been communicated, and this is a strategy they like Mr. Constantine said here, it's a well-known game. It's not a new game. Turkey has been playing this forever, and this latest move by giving citizenship to anyone who's on your side of the narrative gains them local power. So basically, they block any outside interference by saying we need to go in and protect our citizens, and it's been communicated, but I don't know if anyone's acted on it or if it was so obvious no one cared for it.
Raphael, I have a question for you, and I feel kind of bad about this. The only two Greeks who have actually visited Syria in 2025 was Nikos Faradouris and myself. How in God's name can they have intel when they don't have boots on the ground? I'd like your opinion. I mean, I think that the Greeks aren't just not are interested. They just don't care. It's very sad.
Not the Greeks.
Not the Greek people.
The current Greek government. I would like you to please.
The current, I will correct. I stand to be corrected. The current Greek administration seems not to care about anything that's more than 200 kilometers away from Athens.
This is why we are doing this, to inform people, Raphael. You must understand. And I would like to hear from you. You can speak very openly, very clearly with us. This message must go out there. The people must understand.
Just to put a disclaimer, I'm not an expert in geopolitics or politics at all, but to me, the way that the Greek government is acting, I think it's a strategic mistake, because Turkey, and we all know it, we've seen the mainstream media they are trying now to aim for the Aegean Islands as well. So I believe it was a strategic mistake not to care from the beginning or act or impose some sort of strategy. And I think it will continue to be a huge mistake for future geopolitical reasons, such as the Aegean, or I don't know if they plan to take over all of Cyprus. So yeah, I think thank you for having me here, but I think the Greek people need to know this as well. And bring it to their politicians.
We will make sure that this information is going where it should be. And because it's me, it's Jonathan, it's other people that have many times warned and said that the Greek or the Hellenic footprint in the region has declined and diminished, and we are put into strong and small borders in the region, even though our roots and our people are all around the Mediterranean, especially in Syria, where we have historically roots. And I believe that this is a big mistake. And Jonathan, would I like to elaborate on that?
Well, it's a little bit like, let's talk a little bit of the statistics. Bethlehem, 100,000 Orthodox, Arab speaking, 20 years ago. The West Bank, let's say the Palestinian Authority took over, less than 10,000 today. Northern Israel, on the other hand, 10,000 Greek Orthodox then, 150,000 now. And I think we're demonizing the wrong people. And that's a common trait in Western society, partly due to very heavy Qatari and Turkish propaganda. We have to realize that we have to protect the Christian, the Greek, the Levantine, the Alawite, the Druze, the Kurdish populations in the area. We cannot allow any foreign actor malicious or even semi-malicious to rule that area. And it comes down to one thing: who are the forces in the area that are ready to protect the minorities? Okay, I'm going to be quite frank. I entered Syria with the help of the IDF. When anybody that saw from the minorities the IDF there felt a sigh of relief. Finally, after years and years and years of waiting, there's somebody actually there to help them. I'm not going to get into more details because they're classified, but I feel that we have been doing this entirely in the wrong way. We've been trying to cajole and to sweet talk forces in the area who want our eradication. And I'm talking about all the minorities. And I'm talking even within the borders of Israel. And that's something, as Westerners, we have to understand that those are what in Greek is called akritas. They're the bastions, they're the last defense of the Western world. Take, for example, the Kurds. The Kurds are one of the most progressive forces in the area. They don't force women to wear a hijab, burqa. Women are free. And here in the West, I actually heard the Austrian president the other day suggest that all women should wear hijabs or niqabs in solidarity to Muslim women. Well, I have one thing. Why don't you wear, Mr. President of Austria, burqa for 1 week? And don't throw that onus on other people. You wear the burqa for a week and see how disgusting that is and how demeaning it is to women. So, having said that, because I really had to say that, it's typical of the Muslim oppression, of radical Islam, which is fermented by the Muslim Brotherhood. And the Muslim Brotherhood, don't forget, has its seat of power in Constantinople. It moved when in 1952 by Erbakan to Constantinople. And Turkey is using it together with Qatar in order to influence Western societies. And the amount of money that's going into the West is horrendous and partly funded by the oil fields, the joint oil fields by Qatar and Iran. The South Pars and North Pars and Central oil fields are co-owned by the Qatar and Iran. Iran can't sell the oil because of the sanctions, and Qatar sells it. And I'm not going to get into, because this is highly classified and is the subject of very top-level reports on how they distribute the money between the terrorist organization and other foreign entities. So having said that, I'm going to move back to you two guys and give us a little bit more information from the ground, because mine is a little bit old, 3 months old.
Рафаэль, just going back to this nationality issue, seeing this, have the organizations, your organization or the previous organizations, tried to counter this, or to say, let's, for example, let's get some nationality of Greeks for the region, or other nationalities? Can you give us some? I know that there was something about Russian passports in some time on something.
There was a rumor that during the worst period of the war, the Russians offered all the Greek Orthodox in Syria Russian citizenship for the very same reason that Turkey is giving citizenships. But the Patriarchate declined. I don't have anything to confirm this at all. So it might just be a rumor.
It's a rumor, or not. You never don't know. Yes, but it's heard. Has been heard on the ground. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was rejected by the patriarchate. And here's the thing for the patriarchate: it tries to balance on a thin rope, but they don't know that the rope will snap as well, because they have Russian interest on one side, they have the local national interest on the other side, and then they have their people. When we were in Athens, we spoke in the terms of maybe making it easier for a Greek Orthodox to get a visa to Greece, perhaps even scholarships. So on those terms we spoke. I think one thing that Greece was afraid of was a repetition of what happened to the Pontians, that everyone will migrate to Greece and then Greece will be standing there with 1 million people that they have no plan for. And I truly believe that is a risk, because the situation in Syria is so bad. No one will stay. Given a way out, they will leave, all of them. But something of the sort needs to be planned and made if the community is to survive. Otherwise, I think we don't even have 5-10 years.
The thing is that it has been said in Greek politics, or some people have been bringing it forward, that it would be a possibility to do this, to give nationality or to help with visas people, Orthodox Rome, Greek Orthodox from the region, to come to Greece. I mean, we have highly qualified people in the area, families that share the common values, and they would be an enrichment to our society here. And this has been said. I must admit this. And unfortunately, I haven't seen any movement right now. I don't know why this frightened foreign policy is taking place. And I think it's good we talk about this here in this podcast. I don't know, Jonathan, do you have any idea on, about this, or anything to comment?
Well, the thing is, you have to think of the policy on nationality in Greece is basically determined by the NGOs. The NGOs are all Muslim oriented. They're funded by various Muslim entities, mostly based in Qatar. The ruling elite is ever present in them. Wives, daughters, cousins of ministerials, even prime ministerial personnel are in those NGOs, and they're the ones who form the narrative. They don't want Greeks from diaspora returning, because that's dangerous politically. If you and that's why they really don't want us Greek Americans either, because we generally tend to be on the conservative side, whereas the current Greek administration is on the leftist liberal side, aligned with the Democratic Party. And despite the fact that it's supposedly a center-right government, that's nonsense. So my take is that really the Greeks don't want any more Greeks coming because they're too scared of the electoral upheaval and a change in political balance. They want Muslims, they want cheap labor, they don't want specialized or Greek mentality immigrants. They want just the cannon fodder that the World Economic Forum has forced upon nations of the Europe.
I hope that is not written on stone what you're saying here, because we are trying to move this, to change this.
Well, that's what we call the Trump effect.
Yeah.
Okay, the Trump effect is the red wave. As the representative of the Republican Party, and obviously, I'm all for it. We don't want migration, but there are exceptions. And of a Greek or Hellenic minded people returning to their country, coming to their country even for a limited time to help save their lives, is a must. Now, it's very strange that in America we managed to cut migration to zero. But that doesn't mean we don't want people coming in.
People like Рафаэль, he's
want
in Sweden.
exactly.
He's has his own company.
Yeah.
He's a very active member of the community.
We-
I would love to have him in Greece.
We want the right kind of people. The Greek government obviously wants the wrong kind of people. And it's not just the Greek government, it's all of Europe. And Europe is paying the price. We can see it in the streets of Belgium. We can see it in the streets of France. We can see it in the
Sweden.
streets of Sweden. And we can see it in the streets of Germany, where we had almost no Christmas celebrations exactly,
I can tell
because
you.
we can't offend, quote unquote, the Muslim population. And as a sociologists say, that all you need is a 15% Muslim population to kiss your country goodbye.
Because they start demanding and
Exactly. And the West has become too weak to act in its own self-preservation. And of course, these NGOs don't do this for free. They get very well paid for it by the various government institutions and certain secret services of certain countries, which I will not mention here, but definitely not Russia. Maybe China, maybe England, maybe. But I'm going to leave you to speculate there. The issue at hand is an issue of the very survival of the Western culture, and the base of Western culture is a Judeo-Christian narrative. If we stray away from that, my dear friends, we're gone. And that's why people like Рафаэль are so important, because what we need to look at ourselves and our societies and prevent the destruction of Christianity. I mean, you saw what President Trump did in Nigeria. You saw what President Trump is doing with the various preemptive strikes against those who kill Christians. Okay, Syria will be next. I can guarantee you.
the thing is, I do not understand the outcry and the shock that is prevailing, Raphael. We have the term of real politics. Finally, things are in front of us, clear to see. No more hiding, no more discussions and ideology, but it's clear and powerful, real politics. What do you say on this topic, on this European policy, saying that Miss Ursula lately visited also Mr. Al-Golani, because this is his title. Don't forget the official wanted poster.
Yes. Well, I made a joke of it on my Facebook. I put out that none of the people in the picture were elected by the people. So basically, Ursula non-elected, and the same for Jolani not elected. So they fit each other very well. I think, I don't know what Europe is doing, but to go back on our previous point, I mean, we've all seen the disastrous birth rates in Greece. I can't remember if it was 1.2, 1.1, which is
exactly
a disaster. So when we brought up the citizenship for the Greek Orthodox of the Levant back in 2021, it wasn't known to be as serious. But now it is serious. And Greece could use an influx of people because the people are aging. And there's a lot of jobs that need to be filled by someone. But as I understand it now, they prefer to bring people over from Pakistan to fill these vacant positions. And you see the same all over Europe. It's like, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that the Western world wants to see the original Christians eradicated from the area. It's kind of almost like a plan to do it.
I would tend to share this rumor or this shocking idea, because I don't see anything happen. I see outcries for all sorts of issues, And I don't see some serious action regarding the prosecution and the ethnic cleansing that is happening to the Christians in the region. And this is something that is worrying me very much. I have been expressing this also to my friends in the United States, to Jonathan here. And I'm very worried, Jonathan.
Well, we're worried too. And we're worried because Western societies have a very strange way of looking at it. Very much influenced by their propaganda machines like CNN, Al Jazeera, which is Qatar, Muslim Brotherhood. And how can we want the Christian populations to thrive and survive when we're supporting Islamic radicalism? And that you have to start doing at home. You see, places that have been completely transformed, like London, like Paris, like Brussels. How can you expect to protect Christian populations when in your own country you're fighting them? I mean, New Year's they burned down the church in Amsterdam. That was how the New Year came in. The Muslim radicalists in Holland burned down the church. That was a bad start for the year. Well, at least we had some other things that picked up. Venezuela was a saved face for the West, but the West is shooting itself in the foot. And in Syria, we have completely handed over all the Christian populations, all the Druze, all the Kurds, as Europe. America doesn't follow that, okay? But Europe has said, I resign, take over. They've handed over the keys to the Islamic fundamentalists. And when you hand over the keys, what you will get is murder, strife, because the Quran isn't very gracious to to its opponents. You become, if you're a Christian, you become dalim, if I can remember the word correctly. You become subservient, you pay tax, and that's the only reason we don't kill you.
We remember what the Caliphate did in the region with the Yazidi and the slave markets and
Well, I
and
guess
go.
I was mentioning earlier what they did to the Aramaic speaking Christians. They destroyed the 4 villages around Ma'alula, invaded the monastery of Saint Thecla, and abducted 16 nuns. That was 13 years ago when the ISIS was. But ISIS and al-Nusra and the forces currently comprising the Syrian armed forces aren't that far away. They're the same clans. And don't forget how Assad was deposed. Assad wasn't deposed by direct military cooperation. What happened is that the Qatari government,
Money.
with the Turkish intervention, went and bribed the entire Syrian army with huge sums. And I remember it was $10,000 for a general, $5,000 for a brigadier, down to $500 for a foot soldier, and they just got up and left. And that's why Al-Jalani or Al-Golani, Golani is the Egyptian pronunciation, Jalani is the rest of the Arab world. His name is Al-Shara, really. But that's how he came into power, because Qatar spent gazillions of dollars to buy him the country. That was that simple. And they had the backing of Iran, they had the backing of Turkey, and don't ever listen to silly ideas that Iran and Turkey are not in this together.
So, haven't say the magic word Iran. We see a lot of things happening, and I would like to ask you, Raphael, because You have also some opinions on the issue. You know about Syrian intervention in the region and the politics. How do you see the uprising in Iran? Will this have any effect on the minorities in the region? Do you see anything happening and being good for the minorities?
Um, Again, I'm not an expert in the area, but I think with Iran gone, which is not a bad thing if you ask me, but the other Muslim minorities may not be seen as powerful with them gone. I'm talking mainly about the Shias, Hezbollah, for example. But I mean, when it comes to the general situation in Syria or for the Christian minorities, I don't think it will affect at all. Like Mr. Constantine just said here on how Turkey and Qatar bought the presidency or a country for their one of their guys. All we can expect now is that, you know, when you have a leader in a country who's a radical being trained by an expert in the area called Erdogan, what we can expect now is, thanks to Trump actually, otherwise it would have been a quick genocide because the Trump administration actually warned them not to touch the Christians. I've seen this even publicly stated. But they're not any dumber than that. I mean, we're going to go from a quick genocide to a slow genocide, regardless of Iran or not. And that's going to happen through discrimination, the dhimmihood, like Mr. Constantine said. The economy is improving for some people, but it's definitely not for the minorities. I just spoke to my friend on the coast. He says it's the worst it's ever been. And this is despite being liberated, right?
Jonathan, would you like to say something?
Well, you know, what I've been thinking about. Okay, we got rid of one evil, but the one evil, that's Assad. Okay, he was an Iranian proxy. Okay, I get that, but there's not just one evil in Syria. I would say there are about three. Second is Turkey, and third is the let's say Bedouin tribes. Let's say Arab irregulars. So, in order to protect the Christian and other minorities, because I think that we can't separate the four minorities. They're all in it together, and they have to stick together, and they have to form a common front and look to their only ally in the area. The only ally is Israel, and by extension, America. So, having said that, the four minorities have to band together and protect themselves, and protect themselves proactively. At this point, the Alawites and the Christian Room do not have militias, but well, maybe the Alawites don't, but it may have a tiny section. And don't forget, they're a little bit separate from the other two. So what they have to do is band together and make sure that their voice is heard both inside and outside Syria. And if we want to counter Turkish neo-imperialism, because Turkey's obviously just trying to revive the Ottoman Empire, but not by actually invading states, but by using proxy powers, we have to find out who is, at this point, very miffed by the Turkish policy. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Haven't this very good comment. Raphael, do you agree on that? Do you see, first of all, how do you see, let's bring it somewhere else and then go back to this. how do you see this so proclaimed cooperation, because it's now starting, and it is in the first steps of Israel, Cyprus, and Greece? It's not something new. This has been talked about like 15 years, I think, Jonathan.
And killed on many occasions, both by the Greek political establishment, by the Democrats in America, Amos Hochstein, and it's a revival. It's something which is something that we as Americans would love to see, but we're realistic in accepting that the current Greek administration is very
Yes, please.
wary about continuing because, okay, they've made deals with the Atlantic Council-led people. They've made deals. We know that. It's hard to. I mean, I remember back in 2020, we did a lot of work. I did a lot of work on trying to get that 3+1, and we got a big fat no. And well, of course, in the Biden years, it was next to impossible. It was forbidden to even utter this word in Greece.
Yes, from the same people that are now.
Now they're kissing up to President Trump, trying to pretend that they're friendly, but we know they're not friendly. You know, one thing in politics I've learned to always never trust somebody who's turning sides. I mean, look at the original posting or their original opinion. That's the one that at the end of the day they'll adhere to. So all these Greek politicians that suddenly have switched sides, well, they don't. They have no way of.
The Greek reality is a bit special, but Raphael, this would be something good, wouldn't it be? The Greece, Cyprus, Israel working together, and Israel having also vital interest in stabilizing and promoting and helping the minorities in Syria. That would be something to look forward to, isn't it, for you?
By the looks of it, it's the only hope we have, since no one else seems to care internationally. But also, again, I'm not a geopolitician, but strategically, it would be very wise of both Greece, Cyprus, and Israel to actually try to, if not ask for a federal Syrian coast, at least, or an independent Syrian coast, because that's also in Turkey's interest for the EEZ of the Eastern Mediterranean. They claim the entire sea from Turkey to Libya. And now Syria is part of that too, which will come in the way of the Cypriot and Greek and also Israeli interests. So definitely Lebanon and the Syrian coast should be, if I was Israeli or a Greek politician, those two areas would be of the highest interest for me.
Well,
financially.
it's when Cyprus assigned the territorial waters, and this is very recent with Lebanon, at Israeli request, of course. Who was miffed? Well, it was Turkey. Turkey is being shouting and screaming because Turkey was hoping that they'd sign a territorial agreement with something that they would create in Gaza. Something like the joke they did with Libya. They would repeat it with Syria, and that way they would cheat Cyprus, Israel, Greece out of their energy reserves. And insofar as Greece is concerned, they've managed to succeed because the Greeks are just plain scared. Every time the Greeks have tried to assert their sovereignty, well, Turks really reminded the Greek politicians that they've made secret promises that they have to adhere to. Well, with Israel, things are a little bit different. Turkey can't go to Israel and demand. Israel is in a full position to make Turkey accept whatever Israel wants. And now we have this brilliant opportunity, as we had in the past, in 2020, to go out and sign a deal And President Trump loves these kind of deals. I mean, it was his idea to actually do this thing between Greece, Cyprus, Israel, to have common economic interests, but most important, the 3+1 means, and there's an addition, because in March, President Trump say, well, it's 3+1. Why don't we make it 3+2 and put India into the game as well? And Monty accepted. So the 3+1 says Greece, Cyprus, and Israel have common military response. Anybody common military, not just for exercises, but for everything, that would start from the western part of Greece and reach to the Red Sea. And that, irrespective of the fact that the Greece is a part of NATO like Turkey, this three-state pact would be guaranteed by the United States, even against Turkey. Now, you understand why Turkey has been fighting this very smart, very well thought out diplomatic war, and at least they've succeeded against Greece, because the Greek political system is subservient to the Turkish elite. And their problem is, their beef is with Israel. Israel is the part of the equation that Turkey cannot solve, because Israel has resolve, has a fantastic, brilliant leader in Bibi Netanyahu, and it has a people who are used to being shot at, persecuted, being had wars. They're fighters, and that's what's missing in the West. You know, I was thinking, why did President Trump change the name of the Ministry of Defense to War Department?
Yeah.
Well, it's not. We're not going to start wars, but it just means to show that, listen, guys, we mean business, and in the area we have an undisputed ally and somebody who is proactively going out of their way to help the minorities. I was down in the summer when the Arabs hit the St. George's church in close to Bethlehem. The Israelis arrested them in 0 time. That's how you protect minorities, by locking up everybody who may be a threat to our Christian brethren and the other minorities in Syria. You don't go to the UN and ask declarations. You go in there with the IDF or the Kurdish SDF, you lock them up, as Donald Trump says. Just lock them up. And don't forget, the SDF has been locking up ISIS fighters for the last 15 years. They have camps with ISIS fighters, including many Westerners who have converted to Islam.
Yeah.
And Tony Blair's sister-in-law made a horrible. She converted to Islam. She was a British socialite. She made a horrible statement on this October 7th, day before yesterday. It just goes to show you, Islam is a cancer. Radical Islam, I mean, is a cancer. And as in the West, we have to root it out, and we have to find responsible, willing powers to help us root it out. Because in the Orthodox community, there are many who look at Israel with great contempt for reasons I'm not going to discuss now, but that's got to change.
It has been my position and opinion that our natural ally in the region is Israel. I've never had any doubt on that, and express it freely. I still believe it. And I believe that they will be the first to make any action if something is happening in the.
Well,
in
you
Israel.
know, it's
seen
quite
it.
simple. Just ask yourself, in which countries in the world can I wear a cross and not be stoned?
Mm.
The same way I can wear a crescent, okay? Ask yourself. Israel is one of those countries. Syria is not. Iran is not. Turkey is not. And the way it's going, Brussels, the center of Brussels and certain areas of Paris are not. So we have to really deep think and look at ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, what are we becoming, and how will our children live in like 20 years? Will our daughters have to wear the burqa, like the Austrian president suggested?
Yeah. This is something that is frightening a lot of us. Рафаэль, before we go to an end, I would like to ask you when this report will be finished, and I do hope that with your help, Jonathan, we will make a podcast or interview, and we'll be presenting the findings of this report, so the public can be informed directly. And this, as you know, goes out to I Love Πατρίδα, which is a big international Hellenic network. And through the channels, I hope that the Republican Party will get also
Of course,
a copy.
we do our reports every week. Sometimes even twice a week. We send our reports out to the GOP. And I will be visiting the Holy Lands very soon. I don't know if this time I'll be able to go again back into Syria, but God save us. But, you know, it's not just God save us. We have to move as well.
Yes.
You have to be proactive about this.
Yeah. God will help you, but move a bit,
Yeah.
Isn't it? Рафаэль, do you have anything to add before we go to end?
No, I would like to thank you for the opportunity you're given here today. And I really hope something comes out of it, because I know I even have friends within our own association who are, they've given up. Even those who are in Europe or the US, they said, we had a really bad system for 50 years, and we once that fell, we hoped for something good, but it's just gotten worse. So you have a lot of hopeless people depending and hoping on something to happen.
Well, I do have some good news for you. Both Alexis is going to be going soon to New York, and I will be starting very soon, but probably March or April, a series of public speaking in the United States, because our voice is only heard electronically back home, stateside, in the United States, I mean. We will be promoting one of the major issues is going to be the protection of the Christian population and the other minorities in Syria. That is my pledge. It will start. We've already started the organizational framework, and it will be very soon. It was what we say as Republicans and as the Hellenic chapter of the
Αν σας άρεσε το βίντεο μας, κάντε εγγραφή στο κανάλι, πατήστε like και αφήστε το δικό σας σχόλιο. Ευχαριστούμε για την υποστήριξη.